everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Fighting Words NI podcast. In this series, we will hear stories told by young writers who took part in our True Stories summer camp this July. And the summer camp was run in collaboration with 10 by 9. We worked with 12 young writers who were aged 13 to 17, and each writer told a true story from their own life at a 10 by 9 event in the Black Box in Belfast Cathedral Quarter. My name is Hannah, and I'm the project coordinator of the True Stories Summer Camp. And today I'm joined by Máire Callahan, one of our volunteers who joined us for the 4 days of the summer camp. Hello, Máire.
Hi, Hannah.
Thank you for joining me today. So you and I were both involved in the summer camp. Can you tell me a little bit about why you signed up?
Well, I suppose for me, it presented the opportunity to see a project through from start to finish, which is always very satisfying from a volunteer point of view. And then also a chance to meet some of the young people in person, because I'm a mentor at the online Write Club. So I knew some of them were going to be taking part, and yeah, it'd be nice just to see them in real life.
Great. It was brilliant to have you there.
So, I mean, the other thing that occurred to me was I was familiar with 10 by 9, and I was particularly interested at it being used for the project. So can you tell me a little bit why or how that collaboration came about?
Yeah, well, similarly to yourself, I am a big fan of 10 by 9. I've been attending those events for years, and I think they're always a brilliant night out. I love the Black Box as a venue. I love the variety of stories that are told at those storytelling evenings. And I thought it would be fun to have a 10 by 9 event where the storytellers were young people. I wanted it to be in the same venue. I wanted to have the same brilliant host, Paul Doran, and I wanted us to give young people a platform of equal prestige that the adult storytellers at 10 by 9 receive. So I contacted Paul Doran at 10 by 9 and pitched him the idea, and he was all for it, and that's really how it came about.
Great. Yeah. I think a lot of that really was achieved from start to finish.
You mentioned that you volunteer for Write Club, Máire. Can you tell us something about how the summer camp differs from Write Club, and maybe a little bit about what Write Club is?
Well, I suppose the main difference probably is that Write Club focuses on fiction writing, whereas the True Stories was true stories. Write Club, through my involvement, it takes place on Zoom. It's a drop-in facility, so the young people come and go as they please. They have the opportunity for some quiet writing time, and they can, as they wish, share their work. There's no obligation to do so, but when they do, there's the opportunity for feedback from Kelly McCaughrean, who mentors with me, and other members of the Write Club group. So it provides them a community of writers to tap into. I suppose that's so, whereas obviously the summer camp required a commitment to turn up for the 4 days and to tell a true story. It was it's a more probably directive process. And I'm wondering why you chose the theme of summer particularly.
Yeah, good question. So we had quite a few different themes floating about as possibilities, and initially we decided to go with the theme of courage, which we thought would make for some interesting stories. But we decided to switch to summer because we wanted to really broaden it out. We wanted to have stories of courage, but we didn't want to only have stories about times that the young writers were courageous. So we thought, it's a summer camp, it's taking place in July. Let's choose a period of time, and then within that period of summer, we would have stories of courage of all different emotions and events. So yeah, we chose the theme of summer in collaboration with Paul Doran, the host of 10 by 9, and also in collaboration with our summer camp facilitator, Paul Hutchinson, who himself is an experienced 10 by 9 storyteller and writer. So we wanted to give the young people like a big open field to play in over the 4 days of the summer camp. So that's why we went with summer.
Yeah, I think it was a great choice because it did do exactly that. It was broad enough that everybody could find a way to tap into the theme.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there was an accessibility to the whole
Mm-hmm.
process for everybody.
Would you like to tell us about any standout moments from the week or any standout stories that come to mind?
Well, I mean, there were a few standout moments, really. I mean, over the course of days. I think that the first one for me was one of the exercises that Paul suggested was, write the story of your name, and I felt that was a breakthrough moment for a lot of the young people because they suddenly realized that they had a story to tell, and they threw themselves into that process and the whole table as we sat round read their story with the confidence and an enjoyment, and that was very heartening to see that, and then that developed into them working on their own stories, and I was just blown away then with um, the sense of commitment that they put into that, into telling a true story, which often was a very vulnerable thing for them to do. And they were, really, really brave, really courageous.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, and it's hard to. I mean, there were so many stories. I'm loath to pick one
Mm-hmm.
out because each of them had a different quality, and there was a different reason for it being so wonderful.
Yeah.
There was great examples of beautiful writing. There was great examples of humor. There were individuals for whom standing up and saying it was a massive leap of courage, and obviously the final performance in the black box was a standout moment.
Absolutely. I agree with all of those favorite moments. And there was a moment in the black box after one of the participants stood up and told her story. And it was a high five between two of the writers. And our photographer, Joe Laverty, caught the moment on camera. And for me, that photograph really captures the joy and the pride and the success of the project, because the 12 young people, when they arrived, had various levels of confidence. And it's difficult to arrive to a new place with new people and to do something so vulnerable as telling true stories from your own life. So to see them go on that journey from a little bit shy at the beginning to the glory of the high five after standing up and telling a story to a room full of, there was probably 150 people there. It was really a packed house.
Yeah.
And that was a highlight for me.
Yeah, and then the camaraderie then that was created between them all. It was lovely, a lovely thing to witness.
In a later episode, Maura, we will hear you reading Dara's true story. Can you tell us a bit about your experience of reading one of the stories aloud at the showcase?
Well, I had the pleasure of working with Dara during the camp, and his story, I was very familiar with his story, and it was a wonderful story. And really, I just wanted to do it and him justice when I read it.
Um,
Give a wee boost.
yeah, I want to say that it actually added like a real extra layer of humor to an already very funny story, to have you read the story that was the voice in it was so clearly a teenage boy's voice who was up to no good. So to have you standing up at the black box and reading out really just added to it wonderfully, I thought.
Yes, clearly
And
not a teenage boy.
yeah, it's clearly not a teenage boy. And yeah, I think it also demonstrated the um, like we don't put pressure on anybody to read. It's their choice. It's everybody's choice what they write, what they read, whether they share a story or not. And I think it was a testament to the relationship that you had built with Dara and other young people during the camp that he entrusted you with his story and asked you to stand up and read it out. And I think you really did a great job. So let's get to the first story. And before we say goodbye, I'll just mention a few things that we have on offer for teen writers. Máire has already mentioned Write Club, which is our writing group for teenagers. It meets online once a week, and it will soon be meeting in person as well in Conswater Shopping Centre in our new space. We also have an online writers' room, so young people can upload writing, whether it's short stories, chapters of novels, poems. They can upload that to a private platform and receive feedback from our mentors, Máire and Kelly McCaughrean being two. And we also run workshops for post-primary schools. And with the new school term starting, we're beginning a new project called Story Seeds, and we're offering workshops that are focused on Gothic stories. So for the next few months, we're going to be supporting teenagers in school to write Gothic stories that also bring in an element of their local area, their local community, and the places that they love. So I think that's going to be really fun and suitably Halloweeny for the next couple of months.
Great.
So thank you so much, Máire, for joining us today and telling us a bit about your experience with the summer camp. I'd like to say a special thank you to Paul Doran and 10 by 9 for hosting us and for sharing the recordings of the stories that you're about to hear. I'd also like to say thank you to the Black Box for hosting the showcase, to the Crescent Arts Centre for hosting the summer camp, to Paul Hutchinson for leading us through the 4 days of writing, and a special thanks to the Victoria Homes Trust for their funding in support of the True Stories Summer Camp. If anybody would like to find out more about Fighting Words NI and the opportunities that we offer to young people, please visit our website, fightingwords.co.uk.